I thank the gentleman for yielding and his kind introduction. Today, Mr. Speaker, is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And I hope this becomes a yearly thing. It's sponsored today by the National Sheriff's Association, the International Association of Police Chiefs and Sheriffs, the FOP, and other law enforcement organizations, both national and state organizations and local organizations. Now, as Mr. Jolly said, I served 33 years in the Sheriff's Office in Seattle, starting in a patrol car and eventually ending my career as the sheriff. And I know from my own personal experience in serving in those years that a cop's mission is to protect their community. I know from working with law enforcement, not only in the Sheriff's Office in Seattle, but with the Seattle Police Department, all the police departments and sheriff's offices in the state of Washington, and even across this country, I've had the opportunity to work with a number of law enforcement organizations, local, state, and federal. Mr. Speaker, they come to each day with the heart of a servant. They come to each day knowing that when they put on that badge and that uniform, that they may not go home. They know that. But they do it anyway. And why do they do that? Why do they take that risk? Why did I take that risk for 33 years? And let me tell you, Mr. Speaker, I did come close several times in my career to losing my life to protect the community I served. And let me also say that I lost some dear friends over those 33 years. One, my best friend, Sam Hicks, who was shot and killed in 1982 of June. Another good friend in 1984, stabbed to death. It's a dangerous job, but it's a job they choose to do because they choose to serve the community. They choose to put their life on the line to protect and serve all of us, protect our families, our children, our businesses, our property, each and every day. But no one is perfect. We know that. There are good police officers and there are bad police officers. There are good mechanics, there are bad mechanics, there's bad lawyers, good lawyers, right? We all come from the human race. There are good and bad, and there is good and bad in all of us. So no police department is perfect, and no police officer is perfect. And sometimes things go wrong. They're required to make split decisions, life and death decisions. In a moment's notice, you could have a gun pointed at you. You have to make that decision. Do I shoot or not? Can I talk that person out of that gun? I've been in that position too. And fortunately, I was able to talk that person out of his gun and took him to jail. But sometimes things go wrong. And when it does, police, rightly so, must be under the microscope. There must be public scrutiny. Cops know that. Police chiefs know that. Sheriffs know it. And we accept that too. But when things go wrong and we watch these incidents and these events unfold over the media, let us all remember that police officers have constitutional rights too. They are allowed due process too. They are American citizens. They have constitutional rights and protections also. The Constitution, as was mentioned earlier, was read today, reminding us that we all have those constitutional rights. You're innocent until proven guilty. So when something wrong happens that we think is wrong, let's pay attention to the facts. Let's let the process go forward. And then based on the facts, Let's work with the community, with the police department, with the mayor, the city council, and change the policy, change the procedures, and make sure it doesn't happen again. But today, let us also remember the service of the men and women, the brave and dedicated men and women who put that uniform on every day. I'm going to name a few police officers who, from Washington State, who 5 years ago, this is the 5-year anniversary of the death of these police officers. Gunned down, 4 of them gunned down while sitting in a coffee shop in Lakewood, Washington. They paid that ultimate sacrifice, that ultimate price that we often hear talked of. Sergeant Mark Reniger, Officer Ronald Owens, Officer Tina Griswold, Officer Greg Richards, as well as Seattle Police Officer Timothy Brenton, Pierce County Sheriff's Deputy Kent Mundell, all from Washington State, all not with us today, all of their families missing them. During these difficult times, Mr. Speaker, we need to come together as a community, as a country, as a nation, and recognize the service of these police officers across the country. And I guess I'll end with this and the simple act that that comes so easily, I think, for us with people that serve in the military. Just a simple thank you. If you see a police officer today, as you go about your duties, your day's duties, please walk up and say thank you. Please tell them you appreciate their service. That means the world to them. I yield back.